What's up, everybody? It's your boy Werlstv, back again with another video. If you are new, make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button for more content to stay up with the latest notifications from this channel. And today it looks like we got some news coming out of Brooklyn, New York. Looks like reported rumors that James Harden is not happy playing, well, actually living in Brooklyn, and he has had some frustration issues with Kyrie Irving's part-time player status due to New York City's vaccine mandate, in which you need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. And I use the word fully vaccinated loosely because we all know it doesn't work, but that's besides the point. And so Kyrie is only eligible to play away games because Kyrie does not want to take the shot, and rightfully so. That is his decision. He has every right to do so. But nonetheless, those are the two rumors coming out from James Harden, that he's unhappy living in Brooklyn, and he wishes that Kyrie Irving could play, the home and away games. Said he's not frustrated with Kyrie. He's just frustrated that Kyrie can only play part-time. And he said it on many occasions during press conference interviews. I want Kyrie Irving to play full-time. I want him on the team. I want him on home games. I want him and away games. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Hopefully New York will eventually lift their mandates, but that's besides the point here. So let's look at the reason why, if it makes logical sense now. The Philadelphia 76ers have been one of the most coveted teams to be after James Harden. Before he was traded to the Nets, he actually agreed to, before he was traded to the Nets, the Sixers were one of the teams targeting him, but he eventually okayed the trade to the Nets. He wanted to play alongside Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving more than he did Joel Embiid and possible Ben Simmons. But let's look at the reasons why, if it makes logical sense here. So the big three we all know of Harden, Durant, and Irving has only played about 17 games, and they're about 14-13. So there have been a little small fragment of what we've seen this big three duo can do, and we know that is one of the most top three deadly offensive talents in NBA history. Now, he chose Brooklyn over Philly. Playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, is more attractive than playing with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Kyrie and KD are more solid, polished players than Embiid and Simmons. Now, they're also 10 games over 500, so you're upset and frustrated because of lack of winning, but you guys are the current top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, sitting at number 4 at the time of this recording. And you're most likely going to be an all-star this year. Now, you probably won't start because you start off the season really slow, but he picked it up as late. I believe he had a triple-double, 30-point triple-double against the loss to the Lakers a couple nights ago. And you are the current sports betting favorite to win a title despite Kyrie only playing away games. Now, let's look at if he did decide to leave in the offseason and go to the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's see if it would make logical basketball sense. Now, we all know Embiid is playing at an MVP type level, averaging 28 points, 10 assists. He's in the top 3 discussion for league MVP right now as we speak at the time of this recording. But we also know that Embiid has had a lot of injury history. He's missed his entire rookie year. He has had knee issues. He has had back issues. He's 27 years old now. He's going to be 28 in March, currently in his prime. But the list of injuries, when you look at it, makes him look like he's 37. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, which is Ben Simmons' drama. He wants out of Philly. Philadelphia's trying to move him. They'll also like him back, but he's made it clear he does not want to play for the team ever again. So would Philly do a sign and trade with the Nets for Ben Simmons, who's owed $33 million of his contract? And from what I'm hearing inside sources, based on my connection with the team, the Nets don't really want Simmons back in return for Harden. Brooklyn doesn't want him, doesn't have much of an offensive game, and we all know he doesn't have much of a jumper outside of 18 foot. That's been the biggest knock on Simmons, that he has not developed an consistent offensive repertoire throughout his 5-6 years playing in the league. Also, Philly is restricted salary cap wise. Tobias Harris is owed $35 million. Ben Simmons is owed $33 million. Danny Green is owed $10 million. Now, with Harris, you could possibly get a trade asset for him. He's He has some value around. He's averaging about 18.6 points per game with 7.5 rebounds. So, they'll probably want to move off that contract to possibly make room for Harden, who's making about, $41, $42 million this season. Could be 43, around those numbers. But they're going to eventually have to move that contract to make room for Harden. And obviously they're going to have to move on from Simmons as well, who has made it clear he doesn't want to play for the team. And let's look at their head coach, Doc Rivers, who is proven to be an overrated coach. He has the most blown 3-1 leads in the playoffs, and he only has one title in 23 years. So let's look at the reasons why if it makes sense for him to go to Philly. Embiid's injury concerns, you have an overhyped head coach, you have salary cap restrictions, and your roster is not a favorite to win the title despite you being on it, pairing alongside Embiid. So it makes no sense for me, in my opinion, for Harden to go to Philly. Now, another aspect that we could take this is Harden becoming the problem, because look like when he was in Houston, they got him Dwight Howard. It didn't work out. Then they got him Chris Paul. That also didn't work out. They got him Russell Westbrook. That didn't work out. They got him John Wall for a short period of time. That didn't work out. So you asked to go to Brooklyn to go and play alongside two top 15 players, and now you're unhappy because, quote-unquote, you guys aren't in the position that you expected to be. Now, again, Kevin Durant is going to be out for a little bit with the sprained MCL in his left knee. So, we'll see how he's going to come. We all know Kevin Durant is going to come back and beat KD, but he's going to miss significant time, and we all know about the Kyrie Irving situation. But without your other two superstars playing, you're still a top 4 team in the East, and you're unhappy about that. So, listen, you look at Brooklyn. They have 3 of the most deadly offensive players in history. They're favorite to win the title with Kyrie Irving playing only away games, and you're the second option. So it takes the pressure and some of the weight off you. And guess what? He has the most opportunity, the most chances to make the most money with the current team. If he stays for the Nets, they could re-sign him to a new long-term 5-year max deal. And speaking of a player staying with the max deal, Kevin Durant has already re-upped with the Nets for about a 5-year, $198 million contract. Harden could get somewhere between 5 years, 205, 210, around that range. Now, going with his living situations, obviously we all know that New York taxes the hell out of you. I believe it's 30% income tax, something like that. So he's probably getting taxed out the ass. But again, if he has a good accountant and, he could write that off and get some of his money back. But nonetheless, I feel like this is just a rumor started by, Daryl Morey. We all know that he loves James Harden. He wanted James Harden in Philly, but James Harden eventually decided to and wanted to play in Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's just a little rumor mill, just blow smoke up in the air. As we all know, Harden is going to be the most coveted name in the 2022 free agency class if he does decide to opt out, because he has 1 more year left on his contract as a player option. So my thing is, I think basketball reasons why it makes sense for him to stay with the Brooklyn Nets. He chose to go play there. The team is going to be the favorite to win the title next year, despite who wins it this year, because you can't replace the talent of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Ultimately, I would like to see these 3 play more besides 17 games together in the span of a year and a half that they had. And hopefully New York decides to lift their ridiculous vaccine mandate, but that time will tell to see what that happens. And, hopefully Harden sometime can win his championship ring. But you got to really start looking at those things that I mentioned. It's just Harden becoming the problem because, like you said, as I mentioned, they've gave him equitable talent, and he hasn't really done much with that throughout his 13, 14-year playing career. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this video. Is James Harden going to leave the Nets, or is it just blow smoke in the mirror? All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. And